This week we're going to explore an idea of how to help a young swimmer develop a more narrow or shallower kick and butterfly if they're over kicking. Now we're starting with step one here in this illustration, but what we're looking to minimize is the bend in the legs. Now this is pretty small right here and what we're looking for, but a lot of swimmers will have try to drive from the kick in the back, and so you'll see the feet coming way out of the water. You'll see the body going more of a vertical position because the legs are at a very acute angle. So the first thing we're going to do is just allow this swimmer, well, first thing we do is put on fins. So we're putting fins on to overload the back a little bit. However, we're asking the swimmer not to kick. And so what ends up happening is that we're losing the second kick as the legs just drag. So we're focusing the attention of the swimmer to the front end, trying to get the head position right and the connection on the front. And especially we're going to pay particular attention to the hips, making sure the hips rise on each press of the chest. So the legs should just flow and not drive the kick from the back. So basically what we do is we simply take this idea or concept and we put the swimmer through a series of descending 25s. So we were swimming fast or descending butterfly in one direction, and then we would go easy freestyle in the other direction, so that the focus was really on not overloading the butterfly, but really thinking about limiting the kick and keeping the focus on the front end of the stroke. As we required the athlete to speed up, we started to see the kick naturally come in. Now again, this is a swimmer that does have a second kick already. We didn't have to teach this swimmer how to do the second kick. So if you have swimmers that only do have one kick, this probably isn't the best methodology or the best path to this. This swimmer already has a second kick, so by limiting the kick, we're not really cutting it out, because you'll see as we add it back in, or as we require that, he goes faster. So he had goal times that he had to hit, and we start to see, if you look here, the difference between this second kick there. So there's or I think there's a little bit further back here. So there's the second kick, which is still pretty good, but we don't see a huge amount of disruption to the body line between the torso, the thighs, and the feet. So it's still a pretty nice line. But then because we've been limiting it so much, or he hasn't been thinking about it, you'll see here that it's not there, and then it's going to come back in. So it's a little inconsistent as he goes a little bit of the mid pace, but as he continues to go faster and faster, we'll see that that kick does come in a little bit more naturally. So by telling him not to kick, some athletes will just drag the legs. By putting the fins on, even if they drag the legs, what ends up happening is that they get some propulsion and some movement forward. So you can see here as we start to get to speed, the kick is a little bit more natural, he feels better, and we're not driving from the legs are flowing behind the body. And that's really the goal. So start with no kick. So again, very limited kick at the beginning. Just allow the legs to flow and follow, and then by the time you get to the last 25, you'll see the kick starting to come in. Then it becomes a little bit more natural and the body line that we want, and not over kicking from the back. So it's kind of fun. It's good for the athlete, and it's a good teaching experiment.